Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm Mary Jo from Mary Jo's Creations, and I am trying to get better at making videos. I haven't been feeling well, so I'm sorry that I haven't been posting the way I normally do, but I decided that I want to start. One second. There we go, that's better. Hey y'all, what's up? Now, I know the last video I did, I was working on a hat and I finished that. I think I put pictures up. I don't know. Um, I have to go through my social media and see what I put up and what I haven't. Um, I've just been in a little bit of a rough spot these last few weeks, and I needed to take a little time for myself. But I started working on this Hexie cardigan, and um, I just thought that I would make it on here with you, show you what I'm doing. I really want to see how it comes out. Um, I'm still trying to figure out like what videos to do and how to do this. I'm fairly new at this. Honestly, I started this just so that I can record the progress that I'm making. You know, I started crocheting about a year and what, like, I believe it was in January of 2023. So like a year and 9 months ago. And I think I've come a long way. I started just making like panels and things like that. And, you know, got all the way up to making my own clothes, my own sweaters. I do want to try making a pair of pants. But I have to figure out how I want to do that. Um, if I want to make like long panels and sew them together, or if I want to make it in a different style, I don't know yet. But I'm learning as I go, and I thought that I could um just, vlog and grow with you guys. Um I've always had a hard time. I don't do things normally the way most people do them. I guess my brain just doesn't work that way. So like this crochet journey has been a real experience for me because I've tried to learn the way like most people crochet. I've tried to learn how to, do the stitches, and when I was learning and, when I started making real projects, every time I would try to do it the way someone was trying to teach me, either on tutorials or patterns, I got discouraged because patterns I can't read. I'm sure it has to do with my dyslexia, and I've tried a bunch of times and I just get too confused and frustrated, and so I stopped. Um and I got a little discouraged, but then I saw a couple of YouTube videos, and I figured out that, like, as long as I have the basics of whatever project I want to do down, then I can figure out how to do it on my own, if that makes sense. So, like, with the Hexies, um, I mean, it was pretty simple to figure out. You do a hexagon, and am I on the right? Yes. You do a hexagon, and then when it gets as big as you want it, you fold it in half. Um, or not in half, but yeah, in half, but in a specific way. But, like a lot of people, they do, when it comes to like granny squares and granny circles and hexagons, there's so many ways to do it. I watched a few tutorials, and it's like every way that they did it, either, like a lot of people don't turn their work, and a lot of people, they do slip stitches to get to where they want to go. That's the most that I've seen, the normal way, I guess, that people do them. But every time I tried to do it that way, it always came out looking funky. Um, I just didn't like it. So I figured out how to do it in a way that I think looks good and is easy for me. And it just takes, it was just a little too complicated. And also, every single time, I don't get it. Like, I see people doing it and it comes out nice and it comes out pretty. And every time I tried to do it that way, it just looked absolutely horrible. So I figured out how to do it my way, where it's not the most conventional way and it's not the way that most people do it, but I think it comes out good, and it's just easier for me. And I will show you in a few minutes. I would really, 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 really like to get this panel done today, at least one side. I am doing two panels at once though, because I'm tying on, if I was just doing like a solid color, not a solid color, I don't think I've ever made one of these in a solid color, but I have made it in like variegated yarn, where it's like, the yarn changes colors on its own. So like, if I'm doing something with that kind of yarn, I'll just do one panel at a time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stop and, work on both panels at once. If it's a variegated yarn or a ombre yarn, or, you know what I mean, any yarn that changes color on its own, then I'll do one panel at a time. But when I'm doing it this way, where every so often I'm changing colors, I will do both panels at the same time. So that way I don't have to switch using the yarn so much. So I'll use the yarn, uh, like in sections. So I don't have to use this yarn to make one panel and then go back and use the same yarn. No, I do both panels at the same time. So that way I don't have to switch up using the yarn all the time, and I get both panels done, um, more or less at the same time. And to me, it just seems more productive that way. Now, like I said, if I was using one yarn, like I did when I made one of my Hexie cardigans that I used um, a mandala yarn, I you made one panel at a time. But if we're changing colors like this, I like to work them both up at the same time. So I'm going to try and see if I can have both these panels done um, at least the panels themselves done by today, so that way they can be sewn up, you know, at the same time and put together, and then all I have to worry about is the sleeves. Now, what I was thinking of doing was I was thinking of doing these two panels and then choosing, because I have 4 cardigans that I want to make. This gray to black, I was going to make like a light purple one, like in different shades of purple, but now I don't know if I'm going to do it that way because, I mean, I still can because it's more dark than light, but we're getting into fall now, so I don't want to use like too many light colors. I want to go more into the fall Halloweeny colors. So, but I do have 4 cardigans in mind that I want to make. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to do all the panels for all cardigans and have all 4 cardigans done, the both arms, both sleeves done on all 4, and then do them like kind of like an assembly fashion, like have all the panels done for all 4 cardigans, and then once the panels are done, I can sew them together, each one, and then do the sleeves so that way they all get finished more or less at the same time. But it also depends on how long it's going to take me to get all the panels done. So if I can get all the panels done within the next 3 or 4 days, then okay. If in like 2 or 3 days I only have, you know, 2 panels, how can I say this? 4, like 2 sweaters, 2 panels each. Then, I'll just do that and make those 2. I'm still wondering, like trying to figure it out, what's the best way for me. But I'm going to show you here, like a lot of people, they, from here, they would keep going and they don't turn their work. I don't do that for 2 reasons. Number one, I like the way it looks. I like the way it looks when you turn your work. It looks different when you don't turn and when you turn. Your work just looks different because when you turn your work, you have it going one way or the other. And when you don't turn your work, it's all the same going around. Now, there are in certain instances where I don't turn my work, like when I'm making certain bags and I'm going in the round like this, like building it up. No, I won't turn my work. I'll just go consecutively, like all the way around. But for the most part, when I'm doing everything else, I like to turn my work because I think it has a different look to it and I like the way it looks better. So that's one reason why I turn my work. The other reason is this. When I turn my work, if I wasn't going to turn my work, then I would have to, like the way most people do it, is slip stitch into here to get to this side. Well, I don't like the way it looks. For me, it always comes out messed up and it looks weird and I don't like it. So I realized that when I turn my work, I can go right back into this space right here because now the space is going this way. And I do a stacked single crochet and then go right into my double crochet. And I'm going to show you right now. And you see, it looks clean. There's nothing extra up here. And for me personally, that's just how I like to do it. I think it looks cleaner. And again, I like the way my work, I like the way it looks when when you turn your work. And that's just personal preference. And I've learned in these last almost 2 years that, you know, crochet isn't just done one way. Sometimes unconventional is what works for you. Sometimes you have to figure out what works for you, and instead of doing it just the way everyone else does it, because that's the way everyone else is doing it. And I don't know what I'm doing because I was trying to show you and I got distracted. I'm only doing 3 rows of each color because that's just what I want for this one. So this is another thing. A lot of people, this is not the way they attach their yarn. So this panel, I'm going to stop right here. And then I'm going to attach the black yarn to it. And I'm going to take this panel right here. And you see where that is? The way I like to do it. And again, I know this isn't the way most people do it. But that's okay. That's what kind of like what I wanted to do on here is, you know, show that I know there are other people like me that, you know, have a hard time following certain directions because they're just difficult and you can't do it that way and you want to find an easier way to do it. And I know some people have a hard time doing that. And I don't want you to get, you know, discouraged simply because you can't do it the same way somebody else does it and it's not coming out right and you get frustrated. And that's what happened to me. And I almost stopped until I figured out that, you know, you don't have to do it like everybody else does it. You can do it your own way. You can find a way to do it. And for those, I thought that maybe for those who can't, because I know it's hard for some people to figure out a different way of doing it, I thought that I would come on and show you that it's, you know, okay if you do it a different way. You don't have to do it the way everyone else does it. Now I'm going to show you. Now, before I turn my work. Now see, I made a knot right there. And I've learned exactly where to cut it so that that way, when I make the knot and I crochet, you can't see it. Now, again, I turn my work, right? So now when I turn my work, I'm going to do a single crochet right into there and then do a stacked single crochet and go right in there. And you have the knot secured, and I'm going to show you in just a second. The knot is strong. It's not going anywhere. I've done this since I started, when I figured it out, and I have not had any problems with any of my projects coming apart. So I tied the knot there, and you can't even see it. And you see? And the color change looks seamless. And on the plus side, I don't have ends to weave in. Because when I was trying to do it that way and the way that most people crochet, and I applaud them because I can't do it that way, where they attach yarn and then my ends would always somehow not look right and, not come apart, because I don't think I've ever had a project that's come apart on me. Thank God. But it just looked funny to me, and it didn't look like everybody else, and it used to really, like, again, like, upset me. Like, I didn't like the way it looked, and that's why I tried to figure out ways that would help me. And I realized that it's because, maybe because of the dyslexia and the ADD, I can't do it the way everyone else does it. I don't know. But I just figured that if I have this problem, I'm sure other people like me have this problem. And I just want to share and let you know that it is possible to find a way to get around the difficulties that you have. And if I can, show one person that there is a way of doing it, and I help one person continue to crochet, then I'm good with that. I want to inspire people who are like me and have a hard time following patterns and, um, you know, doing it the traditional way, or not necessarily the traditional way, but the more common way of doing things. Um, just the point is that if you can't, you don't have to do it that way. And I just want to, inspire someone that there is a way of figuring it out where you can do it, a different way than is normal for most people. Sorry, guys, my allergies, I have, like, that's also one of the reasons why I haven't been filming much. Um, I came down with really a bad allergy attack, and um, with all the mucus and everything, I've been just coughing, and it's just been difficult. But um, I know I haven't been posting regularly, and I don't have a lot of viewers. So, I don't know if that matters, but I am going to try and um, post a lot more consistently. And I hope that, I can get a few more followers, because I just want to inspire people to be able to do something that they love. And if it's difficult, not give up, you know, find another way. And if, my way will help you, I would be so happy that I was able to help somebody continue on their journey. And not just crochet, but for everything. You know, just because you can't do it the conventional way doesn't mean there isn't a way to do it. And I've always had problems um, doing things the way most people do them, because my brain doesn't work that way. And so throughout my life, I've just had to find um, different ways of doing things, because every single time I've tried, even I used to make jewelry. I mean, I still do, but not the way I used to. But I used to make jewelry, and I didn't do it the way, I could never figure out how to do it the way that most people did it either, and I figured out my own way of doing it. And that, you know, I like to bring to everything that I do. If I can't do it the way that someone else does it. I try to find a way that I can do it where it makes sense to me. And that's what I did with crochet. Instead of giving up, I figured out a way of doing it that made sense to me. And as long as I had the basic stitches down and I knew how to do a single crochet, a chain, a single crochet, a half double crochet, a double crochet, a treble crochet. After I knew how to do all that, it was just trial and error, figuring out what worked for me. And, like when you turn your work, and it's important to pay attention. And I knew I did this last time because I just started the gray. So I have a cluster of 4. Now the question is, do I leave this cluster of 4 or do I frog? Which is going to throw off the knot that I just put in. And that's always wonderful. Let's see how much off it's going to be because I really don't want to leave that in there. I am a bit of a perfectionist, and I mean, honestly, I was about to say, like, if it was for me, I would leave it. But to be quite honest with you, I wouldn't. Because there have been multiple instances where, and it's going to be all the way, you've got to be kidding me. Fun. But this is the creative process. And it sucks that this is about what? Half an hour's worth of work. And I have to rip it all out because of one extra crochet. So let me see. This video is getting kind of long. So I'm going to try and finish this up and then I will stop it here so you can see. But yeah, I just want to inspire somebody. I just want to encourage someone who also might have learning disabilities and they can't do it the same way as everybody else. And I just want to let you know that that's okay. It's okay. Don't be afraid to be different and do it a way that makes sense to you. And so what if nobody else really does it that way? As long as your stuff comes out pretty and looks professional, who cares how you got there? You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares that you didn't slip stitch across the cluster and you turned your work instead? Who cares? To be honest, 90% of the people who wear the stuff, or 90% of the people that'll look at your stuff, won't even notice the difference. They won't be able to tell what you did different. Even crocheters, they won't be able to. There's crocheters who like can't tell that instead of, you doing it the traditional way, you turned your work and you did it a different way. So as long as it's done well, and as long as you do what's comfortable for you, that's all that matters. All of, like, that's all that matters. And I know I'm not the only one, because I've been on lives with certain crochet artists, like Yarn Overhook and other people, and you know, it's um found out that I'm not the only one that does certain things that other people do. It's just not widely talked about. Most people that do tutorials and write patterns, they do it the way that it's always been done. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do it the way that, because most people that write patterns read patterns. And I think that that's one of the things that gets to me, is that, when you have like people that do things the traditional way, and those people are the people, most of the people that are writing patterns can read patterns and do things traditionally. So it's very difficult for us who have trouble or can't read patterns to follow along. And, you know, I don't do patterns. And I don't know if, like, would I like to maybe one day be able to really read a pattern and duplicate something? Maybe. I'm really not the duplicating type. Um, I don't want to make something exactly the way someone else made it. Do I like, the style? Like these Hexie cardigans, I love them. I love them. I have 3 of my own. Um, but do I want to turn around and make it the exact same color or the exact same way as someone else? Personally, no. But that's just me. I like to be a little bit unique, if you haven't noticed. But I'm going to finish this up right here real quick. This is my last corner. Now, cool. I thought it was really going to affect. Now, I am going to take a look at it before I do go any further. I'm going to take a look at it to see if I made sure that I have 3 clusters and no extras. Okay. And thank God that one little extra one didn't mess me up. So you see, you still can't really see where I tied it on. And once I do this, you won't be able even to notice. Now I did my stacked crochet, my stacked single crochet, and then I'm going to go into my clusters. Okay, so I'm going to end this video here. I'm still very new to all of this. I don't really, have a handle on editing or anything like that. So, right now I am doing videos like where it's just what I'm doing at the moment. No montages yet. I will figure it out. I will try to shorten this video a little bit, maybe clean it up a little bit, but I think I did pretty good. Um, I hope you sticked around to the end, and I hope I can inspire somebody. I am going to continue to work on this, and maybe I'll film it so that way, like you might not watch the whole process all at once, but you can see it, as it goes, in different videos. And maybe I can do like, instead of 2 videos a week, I wasn't even doing that, but we're going to try and I feel like I'm in a little bit better of a place right now, and I'm going to try to keep doing it. Also, I had to, I believe I said this in my last video, I had to get a brand new phone because the phone that I had, I couldn't film on it at all. There was no memory capacity, there was no memory left. I couldn't, do anything. So it was like I couldn't even do videos. So I'm going to try and get out at least 3 videos a week. Well, let's say at least 2 videos a week, but we're going to try for 3. And that way you can see the processes, how they goes. Maybe even a little bit more, I don't know. But I am going to try and be way more consistent and get a lot of finished products, a lot of projects finished and show them to you. And then once they're completely done, I will, put up the finished, do the reveal and show you the finished product, and also put it up on my social media. So if you like, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's the same name, Mary Jo's Creations. I am going to try and do as much as I can and get as much finished, and I'm working on a website. I know I have said that before in the last video, but I am trying to build my website and get that up as soon as I can. Hopefully before the end of the month, if not in the beginning of October. But I just want to say thank you. If you stayed till the end, that's awesome. You're awesome. I hope you like it here. I hope you like watching me crochet. I hope you like my stuff. And I hope you stick around. Hit that subscribe button if you will. Don't pay anything. It's free. You could hit the like button if you like me. I like me. I hope you like me. I know I'm a little weird, but weird is fun. So come and crochet with me and see all the pretty things that I make. And I hope I inspired somebody. But I'll cut it off here. Everybody, guys, you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day and catch you later. See y'all. Bye.